Caitlin Clark put on a show in the Fever's 113.90 shellacking of the Sky. 8 made three-pointers are a career high. Big weekend in the W, and we are pleased to be joined by our teammates from Dunker Spot. Nekias and Steve hanging out with us. Good morning, gentlemen. How are we feeling on this beautiful morning? Caitlin going off. All right, we're going to get straight to it, okay? What did Indiana do differently to get Caitlin going after the two losses? Nekias, we'll start with you. What do you think?
I think the first thing that popped for me was just how high the screens were set for Caitlin. It was around an average of 27 feet in the prior two matchups or prior two games heading into this was around 24, 25, somewhere in that range. And so I think with Chicago trying to lean into more of the full court pressure, you got more of those high early drag screens. First possession of the game was Caitlin getting a high screen with a flattened floor, getting to her left and getting to a three. And it's like, okay, well, this might be the tone. Season high 22 drives for her as well. So I think just the early screens kind of perked up her aggression overall. That just kind of led to a consistent attack from her.
Just to bounce off what Nekias said, I think there was a consistent aggression. I thought it was good for Indiana to kind of have that first half. It's kind of been a little bit tough the last couple games after this hot stretch, but Caitlin Clark being able to just kind of explore the space, get downhill, get to her spots, and then mixing in the threes. And when the three ball is going, it's a really tough blend to deal with. She attacks space, she's working to get downhill, she'll hit you, but then that sidestep, that step back is always ever present, and the passing will always stick out. So I think there was just a command that Caitlin Clark had in this game that really built throughout it.
I mean, just that shot right there. She is absolutely lethal. And obviously, her sophomore season was cut short due to injury. But now we see Caitlin Clark being, a key cog of the best offense in the WNBA. She now has more career games with 30 plus points and 10 plus assists than every other player in WNBA history combined, which is absolutely absurd. Nekias, we'll start with you. How have you seen Caitlin's game evolve this season?
I think it's the downhill comfort because I think one of the more fun subplots of the Caitlin Clark experience has been how teams have tried to treat her. In year one, we're putting two on the ball all the time. In year two, even through the injury cut short season, it was, okay, we're not going to trap you as much. We're just going to switch a bunch and let's see what you do with that. In year three, there's been more of a mix of coverages, and that's largely because Caitlin is doing a better job of diagnosing things. If you don't trap her, she's become such a good driver and she's become such more comfortable in the middle of the floor and getting to mid-range shots that you can't really play drop against her. And like the switches, she's doing a better job of picking those apart. Now you ramp the pressure back up, that unlocks the playmaking. And so just her being able to be more comfortable inside the arc and diagnose coverages, those have probably been the two biggest things for me for how she's grown this year.
Yeah, it's just the comfort. I think you've seen just an idea and an ability to get to her mid-range jump shot a lot more, to feel comfortable driving and hitting first, not just like a push-off trying to get to a step back. No, I might hit you trying to get this little right-hand flip shot going. And so being able to have a little bit more wiggle, being able to have a little bit more comfort and having counters to what defenses want to do, as Nekias said, I think is what has allowed her to just kind of progress and stay strong throughout this season.
All right, before I ask this question, I just want to be transparent here. What part of the reason I love listening to Dunker Spot is because y'all make smart basketball sound so effortless. I just want to be in the group chat with you, and I want you guys to give me the answers to all the tough questions. But here's the problem. It's a little like when I cheated in calculus in high school. It's going to sound too good. You just got, just dumb it down a little bit for me when you give me the cheat code because y'all talking ball makes me happy. All right, so let's stick there about talking ball for a second. I keep making this point in a very general way. I'll ask you to make it in a specific way. Does the world owe Stephanie White an apology right now? Because it felt like a couple of months ago, a lot of people had a lot to say about all the things that wasn't right about Indiana. Now it looks pretty right.
Yes, they do owe Stephanie White an apology. And I think it's because you need to go through the regular season to kind of have the highs and lows and understand, okay, what can our team do well? What is our team struggling with? What are we trying to get to? And you don't get Kelsey Mitchell having this streak. You don't get the consistency from Aaliyah Boston. You don't get this growth from Caitlin Clark without the rough moments. So being able to have a team that, okay, offensively, we were trying to go with more movement. We're trying to have more flow. We can't just rely on Caitlin and pick and roll. Teams are being physical. Now you see they're kind of like playing jazz out there. Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell improvising. Aaliyah Boston always steady. Michaela Timpson in the starting lineup being able to space in different places. Lexi Hall adds a different punch. So for Stephanie White, it's kind of saying, okay, maybe we can't do this well. Maybe this isn't going great, but I still have the vision and understanding of what my players can do, and we're going to get to that point. I think there was not a lot of patience given for the rough patch. And so I think Stephanie White should kind of just take a bow and say, hey, I kind of knew what I was doing. I put us in the right position, and now we're putting ourselves in a place to thrive in the playoffs.
I think just to quickly bounce off of that, Steve, because you nailed it. This is a Fever team that was an overtime period away from the finals last year. And so you're already looking to build counters so you'll be more successful in the playoffs. You are now trying to re-implement Caitlin Clark, not just a role player. You're implementing Caitlin Clark back into the fold because of how much time she missed. So like there's a general we want to evolve, but also we have to evolve while also making sure Caitlin is comfortable within this because she is such a big part of what we do. I don't think enough credence was led to the fact that that is a lot to navigate on top of everything else that comes with the Fever. And so for them to look like this, and as Caroline mentioned earlier, not just the best offense in the W, this is pretty easily going to be the best offensive rating of all time. If this holds, like, not an easy thing to do. She absolutely deserves her credit for what she's done.
I'll reiterate what Fitzy said. You two are just both such brilliant basketball minds. But of course, as people who cover the W, we understand it's not always just basketball talk when it comes to this league, as much as we would love it to be. Yet another controversy in the WNBA. Fever Sky game on Sunday. Enes Kanter was there. He got into it with Natasha Cloud. He was escorted out of the building. And of course, we know Enes Kanter is one that has said that he's going to declare for the WNBA draft. This has gotten absolutely out of hand. And Steve, we'll start with you. I will name Dunker Spot the new co-commissioners of the WNBA. How do you move forward with this? And how do you address the culture wars that have been going on with the WNBA?
Get him banned. He's a loser. He's a bozo. Women's sports is too important for this to be the dominant topic, in my opinion. I don't want to give him any energy. So for me, it's just get him out of here. Get this out of here. Women's sports is too important for this nonsense. And people are being harmed by it, and they should not.
I'm right there with you, Steve. Like, this is an obvious grift that is unfairly putting the trans community in the crosshairs. And this is a community that just wants to exist and enjoy the players and the teams and the sport that they love without having their humanity questioned, without being ostracized, without being flat out harmed. And so for this to be as big of a deal in the news cycle, I understand why it is, but I feel like the attention is the point. The attention is the currency for a bozo like this. And so, like, I don't particularly want to give him more. And so I think the easiest thing, it's unfortunate that the interaction with Natasha Cloud happened. Now that it has, I hope that is enough of a window for the league to say, okay, you are no longer allowed in any of our buildings. We can move forward from there. And if that does happen, or even if it doesn't, there's going to be another video made. There's going to be more tweets made. There's going to be more grifting that's going to happen. Collectively, take away the airspace of this. I have seen the pick and roll defense jokes and I laugh at them, but ultimately the attention is the point. And so hopefully this is just a ban and let him and other bozos scream into the ether without any more of this nonsense.
All right, so let's stop giving it oxygen. We'll get back to the game. All right, so I'm going to go to the East at this point. Saturday, Angel Reese, 31 points, 14 boards. Atlanta Dream clinch a playoff berth. Have we seen enough proof now that Atlanta's offseason trade for Angel was the best move? Like, was this the key move in the offseason, Steve?
I think getting her has helped elevate the Atlanta Dream's compete level. So this team gets after it. Angel Reese, Ryan Howard, Jordan Canada, they're going to defend. Angel Reese has just kind of made sure they continue to compete. I think she's grown offensively throughout this season. I'm going to set screens. I'm going to roll. I'm going to work on finishing. I'm going to hit people in the post. Give me the ball. Let me try and get a finish. I'm going to be really just a menace defensively. Active hands, high activity, get a steal. If I get a rebound, I can push. I can attack on my own. And that's kind of led the Atlanta Dream, while it's been an up and down season at times, to kind of have a little bit of a metronome at times to where, okay, we understand that maybe we can get back into this game. Maybe we can send a message. I think what Angel Reese has done has been steady. I'm just going to be physical. I'm going to make sure I make my shots in the paint. I'm going to be consistent. And that's breathed a new life into Atlanta Dream team to kind of set them up for postseason success. Last year, a lot of offense, a lot of pace, a lot of tempo, got to the playoffs. Wasn't as fun. I don't think that'll be the same story this season.
No, I think just to bounce off of that, Steve, like we talked about Angel Reese a little bit on Friday because she had the Fever game where she starts 0 for 6. She misses the putback. They ultimately sent the game into overtime. And then to follow that up with awesome game against the Las Vegas Aces, in which she was the best big on the floor in a game featuring the best player ever. Awesome game against Los Angeles Sparks, in which she literally did not miss. And then you follow that up with a career high 31 points. I just love the resilience from her. Steve already nailed the notes about how dominant the defense has been. It's nearly 4 steals a game over this 3-game run for Angel Reese. She's converting 72% of her twos over this 3-game run, to the point about the finishing, the seals, the overall physicality. It has been a lot of fun watching her get more comfortable as the season has gone on.
Cannot have y'all on the show and not touch on the reigning champion, Las Vegas Aces. They get the win over Toronto 88-78, but not all great news coming out of that game. Nalyssa Smith suffered a non-contact knee injury. She left this game early. Nekias, what is the panic meter for Aces fans right now with this Nalyssa Smith injury?
Ooh, for Aces fans, probably like a 5 or a 6. Like, this is someone that Steve and I have talked about as a most improved player candidate, just because of the growth we've seen for her offensively, the different things the Aces have tried with her defensively, and just the overall force that she plays with, opposite of A'ja Wilson. For the Aces themselves, probably closer to like a 4, because I think, one, you hope that the injury isn't serious. I hope all the best for Nalyssa Smith. Hopefully it's like a hyperextension or something. If this is like a season-ending deal or a long-term deal, the only silver linings I can think of on this front for the Aces is that it does allow them to lean further into the A'ja Wilson, Bree Turner front court that has a plus 25 net rating in nearly 200 minutes together. And Becky Hammon has been harping on the defense of the Aces pretty much all year long. They have a 94 defensive rating with A'ja and Bree Turner on the floor. It allows them to get into more switching, allows just a better grasp of like defensive versatility overall. And so like maybe that opens a pathway for that, but ultimately you don't want that to come via injury. So more than anything, I just hope Nalyssa Smith is okay.
I also hope she's good. I would say 4.75 on the panic meter. She was really strong. She was really strong and good for this team. And the reason I got so specific there is because you're allowing Becky Hammon the option to figure something out. And when Becky Hammon is given the option to figure something out, she usually does. And so they have Cheyenne, they have Bree Turner, they have bigs that can kind of place, they have A'ja Wilson, they can also pivot maybe to small ball, might have more of an emphasis on defense because we don't have Nalyssa Smith, so we have to kind of shake things up, we have to try different things. That could be the interesting point. It's been an interesting way to kind of see different players off the Aces bench kind of show up in different ways. We've seen Maya Yamamoto play very well. So do the Aces now have an opportunity, an unfortunate opportunity, because Nalyssa Smith was very good and very important for them, but can we just kind of get different reps and put ourselves in a position to once again get a ring and make the world mad?
You guys can hear and see more of the Dunker Spot Tuesdays and Fridays all across the Yahoo Sports Network. I'm just saying, so Caroline and I get in the group text with y'all. We text you and we ask you the basic question. You give us the really smart stuff. And then all of a sudden, people are going to think we're brilliant like you guys. That's the way it works. Like, you guys just, at this point, I'm straight up cheating off you in calculus. I should not be in the class. I'm just sitting next to the smart kids in the class looking over, and I'm writing down the answers.